the only thing that was holding me back was back to my growing up. What's it look like?
Mm.
What's the appearance? What's the people gonna think? And can I bear those thoughts and opinions? And
Mm.
because I've never had those about
Yeah.
me, and and but I knew life was the opportunity to live in was better.
Mm.
So whatever I had to face, whatever I had to do, just to be able to live and just give it one more chance, somehow or another.
Yeah.
And I truly, for the first time, in like I said, not knowing Christ, not being very spiritual, but knowing all about it. I knew that for the first time in my life, I knew that if I did not do this, that I was dying,
Hmm.
and it was the first time it scared me.
Wow. So you know nothing about Downtown Rescue
No,
Mission.
never even heard the words.
So when he said to you Downtown Rescue Mission, what were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it wasn't so much him saying downtown rescue mission. It was just his opinion of a place that that could help me. And I thought I was going to a rehab, a program
Hmm.
type of some type. And that was what it was going to be. Instead, I parked at the east gate, got out with my backpack, and threw my hat on, and the guy at Eastgate said, "Go in and take a left and come around the curve." And I walked around that curve and opened the doors to the metal detectors and checked in and took a left. And I went, "Oh, I don't think I'm in the right place."
Yeah.
And they was like, "Oh no, you're in the right place. This is our shelter." And I was like, "No, I'm not supposed to be at a shelter. I'm supposed to be at a rehab facility." They was like, "We offer that too, but you'll have to apply for that." How long is that going to take?
Yeah.
Well, a week or two. They'll have to see if you're interested. Oh no, I'm gone. I walked all the way back out, walked out to that gate, pulled out my cell phone, sat there about 5 minutes before I called anybody, and I just turned around and walked back in.
Hmm.
And I was just like, I don't know how I ended up here, but I ended up here. And let's just see it through.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Wow. So they told you to go to our emergency shelter for men,
Hmm.
and you thought, "Hey, man, I'm going to go to this nice posh, rehab facility. I'll be in there for 30, 90 days, and
Hmm.
I'll get straightened out, and I'll go and correct my life." Right. So tell us what happened when you were in the overnight area, the emergency shelter.
I stayed back there probably about 2 weeks, and the the chaplain, he's not here now, but he interviewed me.
Who was it back then?
Patty.
Okay. Yeah.
So Patty interviewed me, and he got kind of my story, and Patty was a little quirky,
Mm-hmm.
so he kind of got my story, and he kind of heard about basketball, so he took me down the program hall and took me in the gym and threw a basketball. He's like, "Let me see you shoot." And we sat there and shot basketball for a few minutes and talked, and he was like, "Well, kind of how it works here is like we just, we don't just throw anybody the program. We got to review and see if you're a good candidate, and if you're really serious about it, and don't leave the building. Is they just see you sitting here, they know you're interested, and they'll get you over." And I told him, I said, "I'm not that guy."
Yeah.
I said, I know I want help. I know I need help, and I won't sit back there
Hmm.
that long. I'll end up back out that gate, and that has that has nothing to do whether I want help or not. I'm not saying I'm better than any of that back there.
Yeah.
It was good for me to go back there,
Sure.
but at the point where I was in my life,
Yeah.
it wasn't going to last. Well, he kind of blew me off, so I went back there and I stayed a few days, and every morning I was up, and I was like in his face, like, "Hey, you talk to him." So finally, he got sick of me, and I think he finally realized, no, he's serious. He wants. And I finally went to him last day. I said, "If you don't get somebody, because nobody's even come back to talk to me."
Yeah.
So I was like, "If you don't get somebody back here, like I'm leaving." And so he had Adam come back and talk to me, but there was an emergency over here, and somebody had got sick, was in the hospital, and he had to leave and go to the hospital, and it was a Friday, and he said, "When I get back, I'll get you moved over." Well, I sat there staring at that program hall in a chair, waiting for him because I didn't want him to forget,
Yeah.
and uh, and he never came.
Uh-oh.
So I almost left that Friday night, and then that Saturday morning, I caught the other chaplain, Morgan, told him what was going on, and he called at him, and they something had just got mixed up, so they come and moved me right at that moment, and got me moved over there, and and that's where the program started, and then here we are today.
So yeah, there's a whole lot more before here today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that experience in overnight sometimes is like scared straight,
It's
isn't it?
intimidating,
Yeah, because
especially for a little spoiled country boy like me. I didn't even know places like that
Yeah.
existed. You know,
your emergency shelter is a great place to help people
It
get
is.
off the street. But if you're raised in a middle class, maybe upper middle class home, and you're coming to this, and you're probably going, "What in the world was I doing?"
Yeah,
I've gotten to the point where I had everything for me,
yeah,
and now I've hit rock bottom.
yep.
I'm laying on a mat on the floor.
Let me tell you, I've hit rock bottom many a times
Yeah,
in those years that we've kind of blew past. Never in my life had I felt the shame and guilt and embarrassment and was for the first time able to remember and replay all the mistakes.
Hmm.
You know, laying back there in that floor.
yeah,
You know, and it needed to happen.
yeah.
It needed to happen.
You got to
Now, did I need to stay back there 3 weeks?
probably
I don't
not.
know.
Probably, right.
But at that time back there needed to happen for me.
They probably thought you were faking it at
Yeah.
first, but yeah, it's there's some folks back there that have been back there a while.
Man,
And-
I've got friends back there.
Yeah.
That I've just known from my 5 years of being here.
Yeah.
You know, that speak to me and tell me good morning every day.
Even the emergency guys, they're real guys.
Yeah.
You know, and they may look scruffy and they may smell sometimes, but man, there's some good people there that have just fallen on hard times a lot of times. But the interesting thing is, you were there to be on the entry of the program. You finally get in. Talk about the first little while being in the program.
Yeah, you know, I kind of look at the program today compared to back then, and it's a lot different now. You know, I kind of think, but you've been here so long, and you've seen it go from this stage to this stage to this stage,
Yeah.
to where maybe our outlooks or maybe can be a little bit different. But I consider like when I came in to kind of it was kind of the start of like kind of the rise that it's been on now.
Yeah.
So it was very simple back then. It was just when I came in, it was like, okay, you know, you got to be out of bed at 6. You know, you got to be at breakfast at 7.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to class at 8. Get out at 9:30. Go do your job, and then your day ends.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just kind of routine to where it's just that 5 days a week, and then the weekends kind of up to you. So there was a lot of my program that like after the first step, especially, it took me the whole first step, of getting acclimated. You know, I don't know if you remember, but remember I used to, there was probably about a year that I walked these halls and I didn't speak to nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have friends here.
Yeah.
I didn't try to have. I was very mute. I was very like still hard hearted, and I only spoke if I was spoken to.
Yeah.
I don't think that I was you know I don't think that I was an attitude or
Yeah, you
an
weren't being
ill
a jerk.
person.
You just
I just existed.
Yeah.
And I was still questioning where this was going to take my life.
Yeah.
You know, but the first step, after the first step, you know, is where I started finally, dealing with things and feeling good about myself and being okay with who I am, and kind of seeing that there was an opportunity for me to still have somewhat of a successful life, and and that's kind of all I had my eyes on. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have my eyes on anything else. I never went on a pass.
Hmm.
I never left here. I was here for 2 years. Well, I just never left,
Yeah.
even after the program.
Yeah. So
You
you
know,
were there for a year in the program, and you still stayed on the campus.
yeah.
Wow.
But I took to the program.
Yeah.
I would, I got my life together with Christ. Um, you know,
Wasn't that almost during the time of COVID too? Half a
yes, I
year.
was here during COVID. So
Yeah.
COVID was during
So that
my
was a weird time for a
yeah.
program too.
So actually, yeah, because we kind of basically shut down.
Yeah.
So I was in the third step
You
then.
guys would have to wear your mask to my class, and I'd have you take them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure would. Everybody else would. You get your butt in trouble.
Yeah.
We go to Keith's class and take it off. But yeah. So yeah, I was basically third step. It was COVID, and so I was on the tail end of it. But I had got a plan for my life.
Yeah.
I had set some goals, and I had no other concentration other than my walk with Christ, the goals that I'd set for myself, and carving a path that lined up with all that to be successful, and be some be known for something else.
Hmm.
Be known for who the person I am today. And not all the mess that went on before, or even the star basketball player.
Yeah.
I didn't care nothing about that. I didn't care nothing about anything else. All I cared about was what was my life going to be from this point forward.
Hmm.
And anything that affected that, I just had to be all right and let it go.
Yeah.
Including family, including this, include whatever. And like I said, now we're 5 years in, and I ain't looked back,
Yeah.
man. My life has just been, bam, going, going, going.
The program's good. I think we have a great program here, but there's something that's different about this program than other programs, and that's that we share Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Talk about how that influenced your life.
That is, it is. It's very different. I have been to other programs before, um, and they're more about the recovery and things like that. And yes, that stuff's important, and that stuff works for people, and I get it. But for me, I already knew all that type of stuff.
Hmm.
I didn't need the work on recovery and the steps and all the different things. I knew that I couldn't use drugs.
Hmm.
You know, I, it's obvious.
Yeah.
That path's already destructed many a times.
Yeah.
I needed to try something that I had ever have, and that was work on my heart.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have one.
When did you turn your life over to Jesus?
It was second step. Second step.
And you just were like, no matter, I've been in church, I've gone through all these things, and finally, when you came to the mission, you were like, listen, I need something that's filling that hole besides drugs and alcohol, and that's Jesus.
Yep, and that was the and how I knew was it was the first time that I had feelings here.
Hmm.
I cared about people. I cared about life. I cared about the right things. Before I had no care.
Yeah.
My heart was just so hardened that I didn't, and so numb that I had no feelings. I could not tell you a time before here that I had ever shed a tear.
Hmm.
I don't know that I had.
Yeah.
In my entire life.
Wow.
Or had any type of emotion. And I knew that that was the help I needed, and that was found in Christ. And living for something more than myself, and having some type of purpose. The only purpose that I ever had was playing sports, and that's not a purpose. And not you know my definition of I was confused of what purpose was, and and just being here now for 5 years and being employed almost 4 years here, and I've had other opportunities. Like, here's another thing. Speaking back to the program, third step of the program happened, I'm going into the fourth step. I know that they're going to give me an opportunity to work in maintenance here. Not only did it give me an opportunity to work in maintenance here, I was given the opportunity to go to college and get my HVAC certification
Hmm.
over the time that I'm here in the program. So that whole fourth step of the program, I was in classes, worked till 4, left here at 4:30, went to trade school till 10, came back in at night.
Which
And
the mission helped you to get into. Right?
mission got me all the paperwork and all the information and contacts needed to get the grants to where I was able to get it paid for.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
when did you start in maintenance in the program?
I started day one.
Day one.
So um, my first day in the program was, well, I came in on that Saturday, so that Monday, and they had a welding job that they were needing done at the store and didn't have anybody to do it, and heard that I was, so they took me out there day two.
Hmm.
So I sat out there for 3 weeks for the whole time building that stuff, and then I stayed in maintenance the whole time. And then third step was when they had told me that they were going to keep me on in maintenance.
Hmm.
And then fourth step, right when the end of fourth step, when which I was a full time employee and had been for 9 months, then the department kind of had fell apart,
Hmm.
and there was nobody left but me.
Yeah.
So and then that's where we are today.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's not falling apart now, but
No,
yeah.
I mean, as far
yeah,
as like
yeah.
where I started in the
Sure.
position I have today.
Well, and that's the thing about this program is that a lot of people say when, well, just get those bums down there to work,
Yeah.
you know, and being an overnight and then being in the program, everybody here has had a job,
Yep.
and a lot have had good jobs. The problem isn't them having a job. The problem is letting their life get straightened out and then get back into the workforce.
Exactly.
And so that's what happens. Is you were talking about the maintenance job that you had. Well, we have people when they're in the program do specific, whether it's in the cooking cooking for everybody, or if it's somebody in maintenance or somebody cutting the lawn or helping out at the thrift store. We're trying to help train them, during the program. But you still have to go to your classes and you have to make sure you're going to chapel services and all the rest of the things we have. But
yeah, and
boy,
it kind of sets your life up to where that's what you're that's to get you prepared to when you're not here anymore.
Yeah.
This is how you can operate in your life and find the right times for this and put everything together.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I needed.
So you've been here and then you spend another year just kind of being on campus and working, and boy, your life has changed a lot now though. Talk about that. What are you doing now?
Shoot, yeah. So I stayed after I graduated. I had set some goals that I knew that I was gonna complete 100%, but before I ever thought of moving away.
Hmm.
And so I stayed in my apartment back in my office for about, I guess, about 6 months. I wasn't quite. I mean, I wasn't not happy. It was just I couldn't get. I had finished school. My college with the getting my certifications and stuff. So all I was doing was working, and I was working a ton of hours, and then just and hours that I really didn't even need to be working. I was just doing it to occupy my time.
Yep.
Because I didn't have anything else going on in my life, but I knew I'd set all these other goals that I was not gonna entertain other parts in my life till these goals were met.
Sure.
So, so I was trying to stay on a strict guideline of keeping what we had set in front of me here to do, and but living back there in the office, there's no windows.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Little cavey.
Somebody's always knocking on the door,
Oh, yeah.
wanting this, wanting that. I couldn't ever get away.
Yeah.
So from it for just a little bit. So I moved up to our apartments.
Yeah.
Stayed up there for about 6 months. And I had reached my goals, and I was like,
let me just say that too. We have after the program, there is a transitional housing program that we have, and we're looking to expand that, by the way. But that's kind of what you went into. You went into the apartment that's our transitional housing.
Yeah, the apartments here on campus that we have for graduates transitioning, and and it's funny you said that because I even kind of felt guilty about moving up there because I felt like I was taking somebody's spot when I had a spot.
Yeah.
but I needed a little something different and another step, and it was great. I
Who'd
moved
you
up.
get to room with?
Um, I had Daniel Beavers.
Daniel Beavers. Yeah, I
hmm
remember Danny. Yeah.
Actually, Daniel was at the tail end. I had the two brothers.
Is his name Chris?
No, it was two brothers. One came in after me. One was right before me.
One guy was bald though, right?
Yep.
I remember. I can't remember
Yeah,
their
I can't
first
remember
name.
his name either. It's been
Yeah,
so long now. But anyway, he was my first roommate.
Kirshner or something.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. He was my first roommate, and then he transitioned out, and then Daniel came in, and then I transitioned out. But I met all my goals that I had planned for myself and some.
Well, you had goals in your life.
Yeah, yeah, for the first time, and the
Yeah.
first time I had accomplished
Yeah,
goals.
that's awesome.
And so I decided it was time to move on. So I got my apartment and moved into myself and had my own place and continued working here. And there became a time during that period that I was offered a very very good job and with my HVAC certification that was very healthy pay, and I was like, you know, and I considered it,
Hmm.
and it always kept falling back that I've made money,
Hmm.
I've done all these things,
Yeah.
And I have thrown it all away. I'm not doing that again. That stuff's not important. Here I am going back to maybe things a little bit more important.
Yeah.
And the mission it was just too important to me, and where I had peace in my life.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I was scared to leave. So
Yeah,
I stayed. Yeah. And and it was the best decision I ever made.
Hmm.
And you know, this place, like I said, I know you wanted me to talk about more what's going on. That's kind of where it all kind of like started. Like, hey, the mission will always be a place in my life.
Hmm.
I love it here. So now we're sitting here 3 years later now, and in that period of time, I have moved up to a director role here.
Yep.
Um, Man, we have overseen so many.
You manage our team now.
Yeah,
right?
manage our team
yeah.
and get to work with the guys that,
Yeah.
and that's so fulfilling too, man.
Yeah.
To like, I look back now, like how many people actually poured into my life here and gave me an opportunity, and I recognize it. So now it's so good to be in a position to work with these guys and give them opportunities and see them take advantage of it and see their lives transform.
Yeah.
And we don't always see it that way. We do see a lot of failure, and
Sure.
it's hardening. But that's what I mean by like living for a bigger purpose, living for somebody other than yourself. It's not about my job here. It's about being able to do my job, but also be able to fellowship and pour into somebody else and give them the opportunity that I was given. So that's where I am today, and in the time period from then to now, I met the love of my life. I'm engaged, getting married in
Pretty
October.
Girl, yeah.
My best friend. We've been together 3 years now. We ain't had a negative word to each other, and since the day we met, and life just keeps. I mean, God just keeps blessing me. Just over and over and over, and I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that in 5 years' time that I would be where I'm at, and have the opportunities I have, and I know that God has used the rescue mission here to give me those things.
You went from one of the guys that was a laborer in the department, and now you run that department. And you had guys back then that put their arm around you and helped you through, and now you do that for others.
That's it.
And what a neat thing that, hey, some days you're out there fixing a roof or doing HVAC, and you can at the same time be counseling a guy that's going through the program. And it's an awesome thing because, like you said, sometimes and sure, we want to pay you a fair wage, but it's also the gratitude of having something in your life where, man, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm helping others too.
True story is this past Sunday we were eating lunch with Lindsay's family and her cousin. Because I've in the another thing that I've been able to do in my position here and time of being here is I've been able to develop a little side business where I do odd and end HVAC jobs or
Sure.
construction jobs
I
that
need mine checked on, by the
we're gonna get there.
way.
But on the weekends we do, and the
Yeah.
guys will help me with them and stuff. And it got to a point to where just my phone was ringing off the hook to
Yeah.
where we finally had to start saying no.
Yeah.
And we just don't have time. And Lindsay's cousin said, as good as and skilled as Ryan is, and as many people call him, why don't he go out on his own and look at building, a business. He, as much as people call him, and Lindsay's learning said, Sierra Ryan ain't never leaving that mission. He loves it, and
Yeah.
that's true.
There's, you and I've talked about it off camera before about, there's more than to life than just money,
Yeah,
and yeah, we got to survive and you got to make, but the fulfillment of seeing after the mission had helped you for you to help others, man, that just is, and it helps keep that, that purpose in life going, right? That
yep,
now I'm helping others do something that I was able to do. And like you said, there's sometimes failures, and those are tough. Man, we love on the people that are here,
yeah,
and I've seen you invest a lot of emotional energy into people, and then all of a sudden they fall off the wagon, and you're like, it's devastating, right?
yeah,
But at the same time, we see so many people that change their lives, and it's exciting to see. We're excited about you and Lindsay. Boy, in the next few months,
yes,
getting
big,
married,
yep,
and
yeah.
you
It's
get
a big time.
nervous, or
No, I kind of
she's probably nervous, but
well, she told me because we're leaving for Montana tomorrow for a trip, and we've traveled a lot here lately. We went to Houston to see her family that we do a couple times a year, and then we went to Nashville for a night last week, and then we're going to Montana tomorrow. And that's crazy to sit here and be talking about that.
yeah,
That's another like thing.
yeah,
It's like look at the difference in my life.
yeah,
In this period of time, all these things I'm doing, but we've after this week in Montana, it's over with
yeah.
till the wedding. But we're doing a little engagement picture there that she's wanting to put on the wedding invitation. She was like, "Now, all right, now, like we do these pictures and it goes on the invitations. There's no
No,
backing
back it
that
out now.
out."
Yeah,
We
that's
just started
awesome.
laughing.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, but no, like on my end, there's no nerves. I know God sent that woman into my life,
that's
and
awesome.
man, just how easy and perfect and
Yeah,
just there's nothing more that I need out of
yeah.
life than what I have right now, and there's nothing more.
You know what they say about out kicking your coverage?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
did.
yeah. So,
I sure did.
and you can tell I said that for
I
her. Yeah,
outkicked my coverage
yeah.
definitely. She's definitely the loser in in
No,
this
no,
one, but no,
yeah.
I can.
She's a great
I've
girl.
never had felt the love that she gives me, and
Mhm.
hey, she loves this mission, man.
Yeah,
Like so, just back this winter. I mean, not this past Christmas. Christmas before was when the big freeze hit, and they were cutting all the power off. And so they were cutting the power off for like 30-minute intervals every 4 hours, and Owen's house wouldn't start back up, so we would have to come back every four. I'd have to come up here every 4 hours and take about 2 hours to starting everything up on Owen's house
yeah.
for the entire Christmas weekend. She was right up here with me,
Wow.
doing it at Easter last year. She did Easter baskets for all the kids
Hmm.
and mom and kids.
That's awesome.
The graduation, she'll come and she, guys that work for me's graduating, she comes
Yeah.
because she gets to know them. Um, you know, there was something with our dog one day that she couldn't get me. Who'd she call? She called Michael Clark.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just she's invested in from a distance, but she loves knowing on what's going on here and
Yeah.
hearing the things that we're doing, and that's another big piece of our life together.
Yeah.
It's the same
Well, we're
common
proud of you.
goals.
We're
Yeah.
proud of you. So, you've told us the story. So, what are you thinking about for the future? I know you mentioned the mission and stuff, but what do you see your life in 5, 10 years from now?
You know, I don't know. I don't, like I said, like I made the comment a minute ago, is like I'm not really looking for more out of life than what I have right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to get stale and complacent
yeah,
and just, you always want to strive for more and better, but I want to keep investing in these guys. I want to keep doing a good job here. I want to keep seeing the mission growing, um, and being a part of all these projects that we keep going
yeah,
and doing, and you know, and just keep the smile on my face.
yeah.
You know,
You and I have done some work on the side together just for fun, and you've helped me out with some different things. And boy, I see your heart for the guys and the ladies that are here, and it's a change of a life from the guy that I knew that first walked in the door. One of the stories I love is when I was teaching that class for the third step, is you would have this guy who's named Wes that was sitting next to you, and you guys sat in the back row, and there's a few of you were all buds, and you know, Wes was a bigger guy and he had sleep apnea, and so he'd fall asleep. Not that I'm a bad teacher, but he'd fall asleep during the middle of my class.
yes, it would.
So Ryan'd sit there and he'd kind of go, wake him up a little bit, and he'd wake up for a minute, and you'd really know tell him, hey, you can't go to sleep. This is CEO's class,
Yeah,
and then a few minutes later, I'd see him, hey, you got to wake up. Well, Wes passed the class, but
yep.
yeah, in fact, Wes is doing great
Oh,
now. Yeah,
employee here
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What we weren't even sure Wes was
Well,
going
yeah,
to
that was
survive.
a scary time,
Yeah,
and I kind of took to Wes. What Wes was, I don't know. He grabbed my heart when I, finally started loosening up and wanting to have, you know, be a people person and get to know some of these people and not just walk these halls,
mm,
and stay to myself. And Wes was one of those. And like I said, he struggled with weight. He's a big guy.
yeah,
He got having health problems, and I had gotten that time where I was back in the gym every morning early, and so I got him on a routine where he was walking in the gym every morning, and then he'd give up on me, then
yeah,
he'd quit, and then I kind of got upset with him, and it's like, man, you don't want to feel better, you don't want to do that for yourself, and
yeah.
he didn't, and boy, he went in that hospital, and we thought he would never come out, and boy,
He's
it,
down like 100 pounds now or
yeah,
something, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's
over
amazing.
100. I
Yeah.
think he was right at 150. I think he put on
Wow.
a little bit after he's come back out of the
Yeah.
hospital. But yeah, he wasn't supposed to come back, and I'd go up there to that hospital, and he would beg me. I mean, he's laying there with a tube in his throat, can't talk. I mean, and I'm sitting there looking at him, don't know how he'll make it through the night, and he's begging me to go to the store and get him a can of dip.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
and we fought that train, and
Yeah.
but man, he finally he come up out of that hospital somehow, only through the grace of God, and
He's cooking meals
now
now,
he's
and yeah.
he ain't in a wheelchair anymore. He's
No.
got me a little walker, but he uses it more just to lean on. But he's lost 100 pounds. Got him a little gig over here in the women's kitchen. He
Yeah.
takes pride in it. He's every morning when I get here, he's in there.
I,
He
I mean, he's another guy that you saw sitting in that class, and you're like, this guy doesn't want it,
no,
And now,
it's just a safe place. That's
a few
all you
years
would have
later,
thought.
holy
Yeah,
cow, he's changed life.
yeah.
So, sitting here talking about stories of hope, and your story is one of hope, where you had a transformation in your life, really a dead end life
Yeah.
before you, and mission's just part of it. It really is about the that we share Jesus Christ here is really the reason that we have a great program, but that is the real reason that once we get that into somebody's life, boy, it changes everything. But if you were to look at somebody that was a Ryan out there that was in their teen years or in their early 20s and had everything going for them, but kind of had no direction like you. And what would you say to somebody like that? The Ryan from 25 years ago. What would you say to him?
If I could tell myself anything to my old person that I was back then, let's say I was 18 years old, maybe even 20, to my, and I this probably sounds cliche because I've said it several times in here. is find purpose living for something bigger than yourself.
Hmm.
And know that there's nobody that can carry you through this life other than Christ.
Yeah.
You can't. Mama can't carry you through
Yeah.
it. Daddy can't carry you through it. Basketball can't carry you through it.
Hmm.
Soccer can't carry you through it. Your friends can't carry you through it. Even your Sunday school group can't carry you through it.
Yeah.
They can be a part of it, but
Yeah.
you've got to find something within yourself and a want to live for something other than you and
Yeah.
that's bigger than you. And that's where I found my number one success. It's not about me anymore.
Amen.
Yeah, we all have pride issues.
Sure.
We all like that pat on the back.
Yep.
We always like told we're good, or but and that's a good feeling, and you should want that. But it has no meaning in your life.
Hmm.
It's about being there for others, and just being the best person that you can be today.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, let's be a little better than we were today. Yeah. And just keep striving for that.
That's awesome. Well, I've seen a change in your life for sure. You and I are not just coworkers, but we're friends. Yep. And a few weeks back, I took you to a fairly good sized private school, and there was 600-700 kids in the audience. And I know back 3-4 years ago, you would have never done that.
Never.
And I pulled you up on stage, and just people in that audience that day hearing a 10-minute little snippet of your life story changed some of their perspective. I've still, my daughters come back that go to that school, and they're like, boy, some of the kids talk about, that testimony of Ryan, and wow, what the mission's doing over there. And listen, we appreciate you here, and what a story of hope that you are. Any last words you want to say?
No, that's just like what you just said. That's exactly what I meant with what I was saying a minute ago. Is even though we have those pride issues where we like to feel good about ourselves, that's the best feeling that you can have.
Yeah.
Is hearing that you could go like, no, I'm nothing to any of these people, but I went up there with you for 10 minutes, and it was able to affect somebody's life.
Yeah.
And maybe save them the headaches that I put myself through.
You're still a little nervous.
Yeah, I still get a little nervous.
Yeah, but you did a great job.
It's still a work in progress, but even though sometimes that I get nervous now, I never hesitate to say no.
Yeah.
To where before my first answer was no, or my first reaction would be, I don't know. This other day, he asked me to write something up, for the newsletter or whatever. And, when he first sent me the text message asking me, I was in the middle of a million different things. And I was like, I ain't got time to do this. And I was like, no, I got time to do this,
Yeah.
Well,
the testimony of your life, I know it impacts a lot of folks, and I'm hoping through this podcast it can impact others. This is really a podcast that we're doing so people can see that there can be a changed life, and especially through Jesus Christ. And you're one of our first testimonies that we're having on. We've done a couple of history, and we did one with Doc, who was the person that was here before me, but you're really one of our first testimonies, and we really appreciate you coming out today.
Yes, sir.
And being part of our podcast, Stories for Hope. And listen, we just thank Ryan and the great work he does here at the mission and helping all the folks that he helps, and all, not just the pats on the back that you give others and the guidance you give them, but man, the hard work you put in for the mission, and really is changing lives on a daily basis. Again, this is Keith Overholt. I'm President and CEO of the Downtown Rescue Mission, and this has been another podcast of Stories of Hope.